And we're live.
We're live.
We're live.
We're live.
It's like a tradition. Welcome to Echo Chamber, the session in between sessions. This past session was a doozy, if I do say so myself. I'm going to steal the words right out of Siddle von Bowenhuizen's mouth. He had a, what did he say? A D&D hangover.
Yes, that was well said.
A D&D hangover. Spoiler alert, if you didn't tune into the last session, everybody left.
Yeah, we all left. All left.
I think if there would have been a battle, that's what the episode would have been called. Everybody's gone.
Everybody's gone.
Yeah. Amrook disappeared in the night. D-Shags disappeared sometime early in the morning, right? And Harshnag escorted the party and then bid adieu as well.
A little later, Gators.
Oh, Adrin. I can't forget about Adrin. How sad were you? So I want to start this out. How sad were you when Adrin and Amrook couldn't say goodbye?
I was really sad. I was super sad. That was 100% authentic sadness. I was
It hit me in the feels too, and then afterwards I was like, "Crap! I ruined his plan."
I'm a little teary-eyed right now. No, I was super sad, and I thought about, well, I could play Chamb3r could kind of derail this a little bit, but no, let's go with the feels. Let's go with the feels.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'll admit it caught me in the gut. I didn't make the connection right off the bat. I was like, all right, now everyone's breaking. I knew everyone was going to leave. I knew at different points. I did not expect everyone to go this session. Everything just kind of timed based on your movements, which never happened. And then seeing Amrook go, and I'm like, oh no, Adrin's Harsh are leaving too. Oh, Adrin's not going to say goodbye. Oh, and it was like a train wreck that I couldn't stop as it was coming in the morning, and I was like, oh, don't do it. I almost shed a little tear. I was getting pretty emotional myself. I'm not gonna lie.
In everyone's defense, like I assume everyone, I'll just back myself up. I mean, that's been in the work for weeks for Amrook. Like, so, I mean, what I talked to you about it, like a month ago or so, right?
Yeah. Well, and interestingly, it's all been in the works at different points for the past 1 to 2 months in a lot of ways on who was leaving when, and it just kind of all collided that it was after this battle. First opportunity we get outside of camp, and then when we reach Neverwinter, it's like there were these little checkpoints. I didn't really expect to cruise through it all in one session. It never works that way. And so, like, as this was unfolding, I'm just like terror, like, oh my gosh, oh, it's a great purge. Oh no, so these have been all ongoing checkpoints.
It will make that reunion so much better, though, right? Like when Adrin gets to come back, and it's like, I feel it already, and we haven't even gotten there yet. Amrook doesn't even know Adrin left the party.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's like I said, I could have maybe spoiled it in a way with Chamb3r. There could have been, there was a couple things, but I was like, you know what, let's let it play out. I don't want to ruin this.
Yeah, no, it was for
I
sure.
like that you did.
I think it was a great moment. Sad, like I said, hitting the feels, but I think it was that great moment of realization rippled throughout the party, and you don't realize the connection that you actually build with these characters until like they have to say goodbye. And I feel like Amrook's not good at goodbyes whatsoever, so I'm almost glad he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that was a proper Amrook goodbye to Adrin. It would have been tougher together, but you kind of hit the nail on the head there, and I've been dwelling on it ever since. It was an unscripted moment of true emotion that I was not expecting or precipitating in any means, and it just happened, and it caught us.
For sure. I can honestly say, didn't feel as bad about D-Shags leaving. Harshnag I expected, but the Adrin hit me in the feels, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Down to the Phandalin 6 at this point. Pretty crazy.
Ooh, some
Pretty
change of
crazy.
faces, some reduced.
Yeah.
You guys have been traveling so high for so long, and I mean, only four of the core right now. You figure out Thea and Warwick they haven't been to Phandalin
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, it's just Siddle, Reed, and Grizz.
Is-
And
oh
if
yeah,
Amra comes back.
I
who's
mean,
the
when Amrook
yeah,
comes back,
who's
let's
the one
be
I'm
honest,
missing here?
Amrook will be back.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He does have the axe with him, so I'm curious. What did Caldrum and Adrin think about that? Because like Caldrum wanted to like look into the axe a little bit, right? And it wasn't there.
Yeah, yeah, for his personal notes, that's about it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some spell
Yeah.
that allowed you to like get a little bit more history.
Yeah, I could have done that, but that I can still do that, but because I am kind of curious on the lore of this, if how much of it the Bahir um was bullshitting us, or if it actually does have some power to it in finding oh my god, I can't think of his name. Uh,
Uh,
Not Ember.
oh my gosh, Arthur Kimber,
Artemis. Yeah,
Artist Kimber, yeah.
yeah, artist.
Yeah,
But
Amrook's definitely afraid of it. I did not attune to it. Not sure. I have to talk to G about that, but not sure that Amrook would. There's too much behind it. I definitely didn't feel that it was in a safe place where we were, because they had already tracked it down to that area, right? So, and
yeah,
now
yeah.
news is probably going to gather that the Phandalin 5 has it. So,
hmm
definitely think getting it away from the Phandalin 5 is better. But we'll see. We'll see.
So I'll admit this is the first magic item that I dropped with the pre-knowledge that it may not actually be used or attuned to. Not sure of what you
Oh,
guys would do with it as a group.
does it have some? You don't have to go into it. Does it have some? I won't say evil tendencies, but does it have some negative tendencies to it?
I will not get into it. Carl can feel free
That's
to
fair.
divulge
That's fair.
the magic properties to it. I say that only because not playing DM here one way or the other, just to leave the air of mystery to this. I feel like this is
Yeah, yeah.
a very interesting one, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on this one, just to keep it a little mysterious, because there's no pre-written lore, so it's not like you as a character or you as a player have known about this historically. So there's not even a little leaning that you can separate the character from the player. I'm gonna leave some true mystique on this one. Keep you guessing.
Yeah, that's
I'm,
cool.
I'm gonna
That's
agree
cool.
with you. I mean, I read the little bio you sent me, and I divulged a little bit to Evan because he couldn't help himself. But no, I'm not gonna go anything past that either.
All right.
I I,
Nice.
I think
I
that
thought
little
a few might
mystique.
accuse you of trying to steal the axe and run. I thought there would be a little bit of a little bit of a shoot. Amrook's doing it again sort of deal. He's got the axe. We got to chase him down.
I did too. I was waiting for that shit. Like I thought that possibly Adrian was gonna try and catch up, and be like, "What the fuck, dude?" But no. Everybody was like, "Oh, Emmerich not here. The item we just like risked our lives for is gone too. Okay."
The potential end of the world of the frost giants were hunting all around the coast. Oh, hey, that went missing too. And Amrook has a history of being a doppelganger. I'm sure it's gonna work out.
Yeah, no, these things tend to do that. We'll find him.
He'll show up when he's ready.
Uh, yeah. Caldrum, I want to say I didn't get to talk about him too much. He seems freaking awesome. How much are you enjoying that aspect? And the fact that like he's got that lore of Adrin's brother. I feel like he just molds into the party. I feel like he's already been with the party for like 5 sessions now.
There's some cool things I am stoked to use and throw a little curveball at G Money a little bit.
Fog cloud.
No, not Fog Cloud. you know,
Uh,
there's able to speak with my deity and maybe perhaps get some yes and no answers
Oh
on some
yeah, I
questions.
forgot about that with the
Yeah,
cleric. That's awesome.
That's something that I think I alluded to
With Evan, with
Griswold.
Grizz. Yeah, and he was like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I have my own deity. It's okay.
There's a little
yeah.
jealousy
Well,
there.
yeah, I think so, right?
The only thing I kind of wish is that Caldrum was part of the Harpers. I think that would have been awesome because, Evan's all like high and mighty with that ring. Caldrum's part of the Harpers. That would have been funny.
We haven't talked about that, but maybe,
I was gonna say there's no definitive one way or the other.
True.
Yeah.
I just think it would have been funny. The Lords of Alliance and the Harpers, one party.
I like it.
Yeah. It's funny is early on, Adrian was kind of curious about the either the Harpers or the Emerald Enclave, and pursuing that a little bit. But I don't know why I decided against it, but I just thought, nah, I'll just let it play out.
Yeah, and I never really gave you a good entry into the Emerald Enclave. We missed the couple that I had pre-set up and never came back to it because there didn't seem to be a lot of interest.
Well, I know there was the one druid in Phandalin. She left for Golden Fields.
Yeah, well,
like
she was the Harper.
Yeah,
went to
she was
Golden
the Harper. Okay. I thought there was somebody that was.
That was Sister Gariel.
Yeah.
That's okay. But
I think
Gariel.
there was an Emerald Enclave rep, but I didn't give you a great lead in with it. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a particularly calling storyline. I had some better ones queued up for later, and we just never got around to it. The cities you guys didn't go to the cities I expected, didn't run across the ones, and we just always had so much going on that I try not to complicate it with it.
Wait. You try not to complicate. Like, you just, this past session gave us like 6 different routes to go. So.
Yeah, I know, right?
And at any given time, I have to pick like 6 out of 20 that I've got queued up for you guys. I'm like, all right, I'll feed these ones in.
I gotta tell you, I was not expecting the whole Sildar thing. I really thought, Griswold's gonna check in, and they're up north doing something, and then all of a sudden here comes the DM throwing this little line out there, and I know we were all kind of biting at a little bit. We're just gonna, but I think the first time we were like, no, we're not gonna, we're gonna stay on target for the first time.
Yeah, you guys held your ground despite me tossing that one out there. And hey, the fun thing, it was a dice roll as to whether Sildar was still alive or not, as to whether or not he had won that battle and continued or lost it. So I was excited to see myself how that broke and what you guys would do.
Would it have made a difference if he was dead? If we didn't hear back from him, what would we have done? I feel like it wouldn't have. We would have still said, all right, we can't go looking for him right now. We have to do this first.
Yeah.
Eric.
What's that?
You were asking Eric, right? If that made a difference.
Either of you. I feel like I feel like it would not have made a difference. Not to knock the story or anything. I feel like we were, well, the group, because I wasn't involved at that point. The group was very determined to whether that was out of fear or because of we need to narrow those side quests a little bit. Either way, I feel like we would have said no. We got to keep going this way for right now.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I did not think there was likely odds that you guys would pick up on it and travel there. Especially, I've dropped the Sildar up in Bryn Shandar and traveled into 10 towns before, and you guys really had no interest in visiting. So I was curious if this would be enough, but I thought it was a very low likelihood. Yeah, under any circumstances, whether he didn't answer, whether he did, whether he answered and he was kidnapped, I still feel like you guys, it was just too far away. You wouldn't have rerouted this time.
Where does the party
if
go?
he was real quick. If he was kidnapped, maybe we would have gone after him.
You think?
Maybe.
I mean, the
I
Lord's
think
Alliance,
Evan,
like they could take care of themselves, right? Bigger fish to
yeah,
fry.
but I think Evan would have really pushed it.
I think he would have pushed it. I think as a group, you guys would have tried to come up with an alternative means. What's this location, and send the Lord's Alliance military there, something like that. I think you guys have been pretty dead set on heading south for a while now, despite the temporary distractions. I did not see you getting pulled aside. I've even tried dropping some, closer little tidbits to see if you guys would temporarily detour, and you guys are kind of locked in.
I mean, you did give us a stash now over by Lork, so that's still south.
I did.
And if like when we're done at one place and then we want to head east to that, it's possible.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go
you guys
to Lork anyway.
Go south.
Yeah,
I knew you guys did. And by the time you guys head south, I'm gonna throw 8 other directions at you that you can go.
Yeah, right.
Oh shoot. I mean, that's your job as the DM, right? Like we talked about, the player wants to get point A to point B, and then you have to like shift them around to all these different places to make the story.
Absolutely. I think a lot about that. That was a great description by Brendan. I think about it a lot.
Well, I commend you. You did a great job at derailing the party, so to speak. But I'm gonna also be honest, it doesn't take much for us.
Very true. But it's fun. I like dropping a number of options and putting it in your plate so that you guys truly are in no way railroaded. A lot of different variety of what you can or can't take on, where you go when. I like the ability of choice. That you guys really write this narrative.
Yeah, I don't know. It gives me some anxiety sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, because like like when you play a video game.
Yeah, I like that too.
When you play a video game, you're like, okay, I can't fight these frost giants yet. Let me go do side quests and beef up, and you just hammer out some side quests, and you go through that RPG style, and then now I've got coins, so I buy this and I beef up my character, and now I'm ready to fight him. And I feel like when we're playing this, there's actually a time crunch to it, so I don't have that option to like hammer out all of these side quests. I have to decide, okay, which side quests do I do, which ones are the most important, which ones pertain the best, which ones will help us the best, and then that way we can get on our path. And it gives me anxiety to have to make those choices.
It's like in World of Warcraft. I think you have, and it's been a good number of years since I played, but you have, I want to say 25 quests that you can be on at one single time. But you'll go into a town, and all of a sudden you're picking up 5 more requests, and you're like, oh god, I got to go do this before I go get this. But all these are in this town, and they're all over here, and they're like, what do? I don't want to drop this because I just got to go there to pick it. And the next thing you know, exactly, you have anxiety. You're like, you have journal task and anxiety.
Yeah, I'm curious if the rest of the party feels that way, because it genuinely gives me anxiety when I think about like the all the side quests that we have unfinished.
No, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, me and you are probably the only ones that probably feel that way.
All right,
maybe Evan.
I was gonna say, I think Evan loses sleep at night trying to figure out what the next move should be and what quest you guys should follow.
But
He
As
cracks me up.
But Ryan and Rusty and Ashley, I've never seen a chill, more I don't give a fuck group of people. Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
gonna carry on that, and I do want to come back because it's funny. I try to actively monitor everyone's engagement. How involved are they? And those three make it so difficult on me. I feel like at any time they're gonna quit. Like, man, this is boring. And then Rusty in particular, you won't hear from him most of the session. He's
Yeah,
completely disengaged, everything else. And then the next morning, he's the first one to fire off a message. Dude, I'm amped. Can't wait to play again. I'm like, what the heck? It's a 180 from what I feel.
That's
No,
comical,
I
but
get
you're right.
I get Ryan's into it. Like
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I know these last couple ones have been difficult because he's been outside, but I know he cracks me up.
He's into it
Yeah.
in a different way, right? Like he's
Yeah,
into
he
it
is.
in like the character development and like
Yeah, he is.
playing the character to the T. He's really
Yeah.
into it, and he doesn't care what we do as a group. He's just like,
Uh-huh.
no, this is what I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's got psychological thriller vibe going on over there with Reed. He's But hey, I love his investment in the character. I mean, truly, his the way he attempts to calculate, to subjectively measure Reed's neutrality and his motives is pretty impressive. I'll give him that. He spends a lot of time monitoring how his actions are perceived in the back end too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the cool thing. Like everybody gets to play their own way, right? You can't play this game wrong, because like for me,
Yeah.
I enjoy a different aspect than he does, and both are right. So I think that's pretty cool.
No,
I don't know.
you're absolutely right. I've never appreciated that as much before we started playing as I do now, and particularly trying to build the story that and run the game so that it still engages on all those fronts. It has to be not just get out there and hammer away in battle, but true engagement RP, but also some psychological play, character development, choices, and I mean just there's a number of different aspects to it, and it is fun and difficult to try to manage. But I like the fact that you guys engage in all the various aspects of the game.
It is its own living, breathing being, in my opinion. Like there's so
Mm-hmm.
many different aspects that constantly like move and shift, and one day you'll be like, oh, I only really want to do battle, and then the next day, Warwick's trying to steal a house. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
changes
yeah.
every session.
Yes.
When we were at Origins, me and Ron played in a game. It was like 2 hours, and there was a good number of us. It was like 8 or 9 people at the table, and we were higher level, and we're like, okay, this will be cool. We're gonna have some, get some, fight some like higher level something or whatever. But we played for 2 hours, and not once did we roll for initiative, and yet it was so cool. Like the guy at the table, he played the bard. Like these were pre-roll characters. He played the bard, and he was like, "Listen," and he was an older guy. He's like, "I have played D&D for a very long time. I want to take every single one of you people back home with me and play like at once a week with all you people. This was so fucking awesome." And I had a barbarian, and it was kind of like at one point I'm like, "This is cool, but I'm a barbarian. They have one thing: they crush things. They smack things." So I'm like, okay, well I got to take this character and make it my own sort of thing. And I can't remember. He was he or she was halfling, but one of the skills was like tinkering or something like that. And I just ran with it, and that like played out huge in like a couple of things that we did. And it was just funny that we played for 2 hours, high level characters, and not once we just subterfuge everything.
See, now that's a game I wish I could sit in on and watch. I'd love to see how that works. That quick building of engagement and the clicking right off the bat. That's an impressive feat. I give as players and as a DM, that's an impressive feat. I give you guys credit.
What DM even like he was like, okay, he even told us like at the end, he's like, okay, I try to throw like a couple things at you to have at least like one combat situation. But then our wizard did something and our rogue did something that we completely got out of it. And it was awesome. It was you sit and think, you're like, oh yeah, D&D it's all about die rolling and crushing things and battle and everything else. But there's that aspect that people kind of forget about, and it is a lot of fun. That's why I think it can get boring though, and that's why I think you kind of have to have a good mix of which after these last 4 or 5 actually 6 sessions where we're battle heavy and like continuing into other sessions, 2-3 sessions of battle. This was I thought it was an awesome follow up to all that.
Good. Yeah, I thought I need a little mix up. It's been a little pretty battle heavy, just slug and chug. So that was good. I'm looking forward to mixing up even further with a little city visit. You guys haven't had a really good city visit in a while.
Yeah.
It's a little bittersweet though. Like it was really nice to have that RP, but at the same time it was just like somber. Yeah. Like it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It got me. So,
yeah. Hey, that was a tough one to ease into. I mean, that wasn't fun RP. That was hit you right in the stomach.
So you bring up shopping. So the next session is going to start with a shopping trip, pretty much. How do you guys, like other groups that you were in, deal with shopping? Because obviously I've watched a few things and had a few, interactions within this party, but I'm just curious because I know that most people when they play, they either enjoy shopping for the discovery or they just hate it. Like they just here's my money, here's what I want, give me it, I'm done. How do other groups go with it?
I mean, typically my other groups is we do it's a mix and match. Sometimes it's one of those you feel like role playing it. Nah. All right, this is what you can find in the city. This is what you can't. Like what are you looking for? Okay, you can find this, but you can't find this. Or here, roll an investigation. You can find the depending on what you roll. You find this, and this, but not this. But then there's other times it's kind of like fun to play it out a little bit. But yeah, I agree. Sometimes it does get old.
What about you?
Yeah, that's what I've seen it both ways. I've enjoyed it both ways, and I've tried to brush over a couple of the shopping events where you guys are just looking for something. You're like, all right, we need this. Let's just grab it. And those ones I've tried to be like, all right, you find somebody, quick negotiation, you do it. Other times, if we've been light on role play, I feel like I can really make it something to be enjoyed, and you get something out of it. So I've tried to throw a couple stores in there that you guys have actually been able to engage with, pick up some things, have some random rolls occur, find out some stories from it. I think of, oh gosh,
from Yartar.
Yeah, the gentleman from Yartar.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of his name too.
That was a fun one. The horses, what's his name? Tripod. That whenever you guys bought them.
Pimnam.
Yeah, exactly. Pimnam. So a few of them I've tried to make. So even if you don't shop every time, if you like 1 out of every 3 you actually RP, you can at least picture a little bit more of the experience of shopping in Forgotten Realms and in Farron on the ones that you're not buying anything. So it almost carries over. One event carries to the next ones, but I guess I'm always judging based on like how engaged you guys want to be. Are you just, hey, I want to check out what they got, or hey, we need a potion of health here. Is anyone going to give us a potion of health? Can I find some diamonds? And how creative can I make a character at that exact moment? If I don't have anyone interesting, like, all right, let's brush over it.
Yeah. You think about Critical Role, and like you were saying, even like some of like all the like some of the best NPCs are the shopkeepers.
Pumat Soul, baby.
Pumat Soul, Gilmore. the gnoll or the goblin with no arms,
Yeah.
and oh, he cracked me the fuck up. Yeah, and the dude, the old dude in Yartar.
Yeah. The old dude in
Yeah,
Yartar is the Phandalin 5's Pumatsul, in my opinion.
yeah.
hmm we could go back to him week after week, and we'd still have a good time. But I don't know. Carl in real life can't stand shopping at all.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like that balance, like G said, like whether that's every third time we don't do RP it or whatever it is, there is a balance. I think we do it well, but I was just curious what you guys do with other groups. So
And I think G said it right. You have to feel the group out at the time. One week it's you do something like that and it's fun, but then the next week you might feel, "What, I'm not feeling it from them. We'll just, yeah, okay, you guys can find that, sure."
I
Yeah,
was
that's
surprised that Rusty didn't throw out his previous suggestion on how to get rid of some stuff out of the bag. I don't know if you guys remember it. He had suggested like a consignment type store in which, let's drop off our goods
yes.
and then you sell them
Mhm.
and we get 80% of the profit, you keep 20.
Yeah.
I was
I
really
love
hoping
that
he'd throw
idea.
that out there. Like because it's
I,
Neverwinter,
I had a little
they're going to be
mechanic
able to
set up
sell it.
for it.
I didn't want to be the one to brings it up again, but since it was Rusty's idea, I was really surprised he didn't.
No, that was beautiful,
Um,
and you guys have a lot of items of value. So I know you're looking to sell, and then I know Griswold's going to be looking to buy. Well, Warwick too. Warwick will be looking to buy something to upgrade the party here a little bit. So I figure there'll be a little bit. I do fear about taking up the entire session. Uh, that's always a big one. I call it a shopping session coming up, but really it's probably a restocking adjustment session of what do you guys need to do? How do you replenish? How do you take a moment? Like you guys are heading south, but what are you really doing? There's not a plan yet. You guys are heading south, and outside of character, Eric. I mean, you guys are not just heading into just head in and grab the book sort of deal. You got
there's going to be something involved, yeah.
yeah, you got some stuff to plan here, but you guys are just like, yeah, we'll just head south. We'll figure it out.
So I don't know. I'm super curious, and I'm hoping. I know he probably won't do this, but there's a price to pay to get into Candlekeep.
That there is.
I'll leave it at that. And I'm hoping, and I'm wondering what what Siddle, if he would give something up to get into Candlekeep on something that he found that he's as of late has found use of it
Yep.
in an RP thing. So I'm super curious about that.
That's it. I'm curious too. I've tried to drop a few things in there for potential, but decisions to be made.
I thought you were going to go a different way there. I thought you were going to go with what does Warwick do to try and get us in without paying, and how does Caldrum respond to that?
Well, that's
So,
certainly on my mind as well. How you guys approach this?
I mean, I don't think, knowing how Candlekeep is set up, I would doubt that would work.
I don't know.
I mean, that's how I would run it.
But you can certainly try.
Exactly. What was the first part of that?
How Warwick would try and get us
Cal.
in without, and then how Caldrum would respond.
So it's funny. Caldrum and Adrin both are both neutral good. If you look at the character sheet. However, morally they're both different. I mean, there's certain aspects where I think you'll find out that morally Adrin is more of the, how can I he's the
Stickler?
more good. Yeah, I guess you could say stickler. He's more of
He's
the
a
good
teacher's
of the
pet.
being.
I
Where
feel it already. He's the teacher's pet.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Where Keldrum is he's neutral good, but he's the he's going to be more upset. I won't get into it. He'll be more he won't be upset, but he has a thing of abusing magic because that's his goddess is of magic. It's a tool. In his eyes, it's a tool not to be abused, and that's the moral differences between, I guess, Keldrum and Adrin. That's where you'll see those differences come in, I think.
So let me
So,
ask you this about Caldrum. We come in, we all came together, we kind of brought these characters in, but we talked early on about like how you built the character and then it takes you weeks to like feel it out and figure it out. I feel like you have Caldrum figured out a lot more. Is that
I
because you're coming in later in the session?
Yeah, later in the session, and something that he's been playing along. I've been playing along with him as we've gotten further and further because after I and I told this to G. I had originally thought that we were going to have more healing power with
The bards.
Murph and Warwick, so that's why he drifted more towards Monk and he dropped the Circle of Dreams. I think if it was still the case, he would have kept Circle of Dreams and continued on as just a druid, and would have been a better healer. But I didn't want to redo his character again because that was the third time on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been, and I've been going back and forth on it with G on it. Because I really like playing Adrin, but at the same time, having a party of 9 and trying to heal is with a weakened druid. It just is difficult.
For sure.
So
yeah. So I want to, while we're on Caldrum, I wanted to bring it up earlier and didn't get a chance to. I do want to make 3 quick points here. One, the fact that that's been, oh gosh, that is what, a year in the works now since you've officially
probably, yeah.
had him and have been playing along, that the story has been developing and building. I love that it's built up so much and that you were able to kind of jump into him accordingly. 2, I wanted to give you, commend you. The way you jumped in with Caldrum, the personality that jumped in, the backstory, the interaction with the crew right off the bat, very different than Adrian in a lot of ways, and you had that nuance going. I was really impressed with the way he came in and really enjoyed the interaction right off the bat from my end on things. It was pretty cool. And 3, I can't tell you how utterly terrified I am now that you guys have a cleric on the party. I just got used to having your shape shifting and everything else, your variability there with Adrin, who constantly threw me off. Having a cleric now, oh man, brutal.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward for you either because there's a lot of party dynamics now with the that even the fighting will change, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
previously, we had to do this little in and out game. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about the boat situation in which we kind of split and we were in and out, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that fighting style changes at this point with having a cleric.
Yeah, a little bit. A
I
little
have 2 sessions while you guys figure it out and are a little bit of a cluster, so I can have fun the next 2. After that, I'm screwed.
bit.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, won't know till we get there, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Right.
No, it'll be fun to adjust and mix some things up, and I get to change what I throw up at you a little bit. But I am a bit terrified. I could play off your limited healing before, wear you guys down a little bit. Now it's not going to be as easy. I got to change my approach.
That's a good point. Very good point. All right, I'll open it up to you guys. Any other thoughts about previous session or thoughts about future sessions in which the Phandalin Five may find themselves?
I wanted to ask you real quick, going back to when Amrook was leaving the party and Keldrum saw you leaving. What were you thinking at that point?
I was wondering if he was going to stop me because of the axe.
Oh no, he doesn't. He cares, but he doesn't care at that fact.
Yeah, I just knew that you had said he'd been watching us for quite some time, and so he would know the investment, and he would know the the danger of having something like that unleashed. I mean, for all he knows, like I'm taking it out into the frost giants. I'm going to meet the frost giants and give it to them. So I
He
that
just
was
he just he just thought you were leaving just to like go take a leak or go take a poop somewhere.
true, and I tried to play it a little nonchalant. I felt bad because I knew Adrian was going to leave. I thought he was going to make it to Neverwinter. Maybe they meet up one more time along the way or something. But I did feel bad about that. But like I said before, I'm kind of glad because I feel like Amrook's not good at goodbyes anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Adrin, or sorry, Amrook and Caldrum will be good friends. I can feel it already. I think, Amrook has that mentality of, he holds Adrin at such a high respect that anybody Adrin says is okay, then he holds at that same level. I one more since you brought that up. So the DM dropped a little nugget on the group, and I was trying to watch Evan's face, and I was trying to watch other people's faces for reaction because I wasn't involved. When Grizz was doing his whole speech of the time of man, which I totally had Lord of the Rings on my mind that entire speech. I commend him for doing that. I couldn't keep a straight face through it, but when he was doing that, the DM dropped a little nugget of a vacuum of leadership. Was that another line in the water, DM, for the Phandalin Phive or someone from the Phandalin Phive to fill that vacuum?
That's a great question. I guess, yeah, that was a little tidbit I threw out there. That, all right, you want to unify the party, or the world? Who's going to unify them? Who do they stand behind? So that was hey, I'll drop it out there. Let's see where it goes.
There's a lot of different factions. Like we said, there's Lords Alliances. There's Harper's. There's the Emerald Enclave. There's the what's the other one at the
Oh gosh, wait, Lord's Alliance, Harper's, Emerald Enclave, the network, the Black.
Yeah, there's the Zen
yeah.
Network. There's another one. It's like knights. It's all like
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, but some of them have similar goals, but how they get there is questionable amongst all them. And yeah, that's a good point. And then plus the different nations, different cities.
And that's it. I approached it two different ways. There is one I'm thinking, okay, it's great. He's saying he wants to unify them and all rally behind it. In an ideal world, hey, absolutely, all nations stand together behind a common threat. But that's never quite the way it plays out. And there's a lot of different things that play, and who in Farron that you know of that you've learned about thus far has the ability to unify them. I would say no one's come across yet. And at the same time, the Phandalin Phive is. You guys are always waffling on your position within history. You're kind of building that rumor of good. You're building that name, but not necessarily taking the leadership position. You guys are almost mercenaries for a good cause at the moment. But do you step up? Do you take on more? How does the group and those within the group go about this? So, just dropping that out there. What is the Phandalin Phive's leadership role within the world for a common threat like this? Are you the persuader? Are you the arm, the muscle? Are you the unifying force? Are you the leaders? I mean, how does this get approached?
He was definitely interesting and interesting to watch people's faces because some people didn't even like take a hint at it, and then some other people were like, "Huh." You know what I mean? You
Uh,
could just see the wheels turning. I, you know, dramatically, I think Evan wants Griswold to be that unifying person. Thematically, I'm not sure it can happen.
Yeah, and that's
by the
it.
way, Order of the Gauntlet.
Thank you. And then what, Zentarum were the other ones I was trying to think
Yeah.
of. Yeah, so this would be interesting. Now, a spoiler alert, Nasana is going to be the one that unifies everybody and leads you to victory over the Giants. So,
Uh,
I knew it.
you
I
know,
knew it.
yeah.
yeah, we didn't even talk about Warwick. Uh,
Well, Grizz questioned him a little bit.
yeah, no, that's. I mean, no, I mean here we
Oh
didn't even
yeah, yeah.
talk about Warwick. Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
what do you feel about it? Let's. I mean, we got more time. What do you feel about Warwick?
I I don't know. I mean, of course, I didn't hear him say this, but as a player watching, I felt that Keegan was being forthright and saying that he didn't know, but he has his suspicions. Um, yeah, I don't know, and I don't know how he feels about that. I guess.
I mean, he did also kind of
I
slide in there that could be Nasana.
Well, that's what I said. You know, he has his suspicions that it's Nasana because he said he goes, listen, I gave her my blood, and that's something that could be something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the only one that kind of saw it was Grizz. So he's the only one that can really ask about it, and
Yeah, yeah,
Warwick answered his questions as forthright as possible and didn't seem to be hiding anything. I was really hoping Evan would throw an insight check, and he didn't at all. And I was
no,
I
I
like,
know.
didn't.
I was waiting
oh.
for it.
And then I could hear Garrett say, "Go ahead and make a persuasion or deception check, your choice." And
Uh
don't
huh.
tell us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting for that to
Uh
happen,
huh.
and it just didn't happen. I was
Yep.
like, missed opportunity
Yep.
for sure.
Yep. I was too.
I love that interaction from both sides. I really did. I'm glad Grizz went straight to it, and Warwick's answer probably could not have been more perfect in the questions it answered and didn't answer. It was direct but vague. It was close-ended and open-ended at the same time, and probably left more questions than answers in some ways. But it was beautiful,
Yeah.
succinct.
Agreed.
And now I'm curious if something would have had happened to Reed. What would have happened?
Oh, because Reed made a deal as well. Do we know that though? I feel like we don't know that.
He he told us. He
Yeah,
said I
he
made a deal.
Okay, okay. I
He
didn't
told
realize
he
that.
told us in yeah, he told us. Warwick talked to I don't remember how much
Warwick
we know
initiated
about
the
Warwick.
deal, so
Yeah.
he flat
Yeah.
out told us, listen, I sold my soul to the devil for you guys. Let's not be stupid next
Yeah.
time. And then I did for some reason I feel like we didn't know about Reed because he kind of lingered back and made the deal afterwards, but maybe he told us. So
he did. But I feel like you
He
guys
did
definitely
tell
did
us, yeah.
tell us later, and I forget what
Yeah.
prompted that. Uh,
I mean,
Yeah,
she's
he
gonna
did
lead
tell us.
us to Unity and Hell in the
she's
Sauna,
the
right?
chosen one. That's it. She's the protagonist of this story. She's actually what this is all about. You guys were just hindrances.
I figured Sid'll probably cheated on her.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's kind of a douche.
That's his ex-wife. That's what it really is. This whole story is just
Wow.
about taking him for everything he's worth. That book is
Hmm.
very, very valuable.
Yeah,
She needs to know where he hid his assets, so he needs his memory back. That's what this whole thing is.
That's what it is. We just cracked the case. All right. With that,
But-
G, unless you have anything else, we're gonna go ahead and wrap
Oh,
up
I got
the
a
stream.
million more things, but we could keep going forever, quite frankly. But no, I'll wrap up the stream and save more discussions for another day.
More discussions for another day, and we will see you guys this weekend. Maybe we'll see some character returns. We'll see.
To be determined.